Dear Janaki, I write to you from the 21st century. I wonder how you, so ahead in many ways of your time, would navigate this world. Which country would you be living in? Who would you be with? What would you be working on? How would you navigate the worlds of golden, miracle, genetically modified foods, searching for ever higher yields? Would you be CRISPR gene editing, or would you be more involved in conservation, climate activism, extending your ethnobotany, rather than striving for an ever sweeter strain of sugarcane? We will never know. You searched for sweetness in the world. In fact, you created it. Utopian dreams, some of ours have turned rather dystopian. Floods and superweeds and pesticides and seeds that need to be sold over and over again. And a world reeling from too much human intervention in nature. What would you think? Where would you locate yourself in all of this? Perhaps, like so many of us, you would not locate yourself in one place only. You would, as you were, remain hybrid. Would the 21st century have helped your romantic dreams, where so much more is permissible, possible, where racism doesn't need to get in the way of relationships? Or would your embeddedness in nature and research come first, then and now? Janaki, the best childhood gift I ever received one Christmas was a microscope. I must have been around 8, and I adored it, the different coloured slides, the lens, as if it were a kind of magic, a macro cinema. Microscopes play a large part in your life. Attempting to borrow one, you meet Haldane, an important figure in your life. You look at life, analyse life, and create new life through a lens, just as I do now, not a scientist but a filmmaker. You travel extensively. One person says in a reference, she never stays anywhere long, as if that were an insult, when only by moving are you able to avoid the patriarchal chains which always threaten, and only by travelling are you able to truly taste life in all its abundance. Why was sugar your great love? Sugar, with its slavery backstory, its complicated, horrific history, its cultivation implicated in the sweet tooth of aristocracy and the forced labour, the violence of colonialism. The anti-saccharide movement, an abstention from sugar for political and moral reasons, so closely tied to the British anti-slavery movement. Or in the 1820s, the use of the supposedly free-grown East Indian sugar, which was grown under labour conditions very far from free. Take all that history and genetically modify it, alter it, like taking colonialism and slavery itself and crossing them with something else. How do you make such a history sweeter? You who wanted to give up everything on your first meeting with Gandhi, on first sight of hearing him speak, and you who met Nehru.
My dear Cyril, I wonder if you could send me a copy of your Conway lecture, The Conflict of Science and Society. I want Nehru to read it. I gave him a copy of Dead Hand on Discovery as a New Year gift. In fact, I told him I would not work for him until he had read it.
Did that ever affect how you viewed your sugarcane, or did the plant itself always remain innocent, somehow unsullied by everything in its history? Instead, you saw the plant as a mystery to solve, to unlock its chromosomes as if a detective story, an epistemological detective story.
Coimbatore Sugarcane Station, August 8, 1938. My dear Cyril, it has taken me 7 long months to undo the harm that Gates did in the course of a single day spent in Coimbatore. Mr. Venkatraman was completely taken in by the professor's keen interest in the work done at Coimbatore, his fund of information, and his gracious manners. Even the doubt expressed, not to me but to Venkatraman, about the validity of the Saccharum Zia cross stuck in the expert's brain, and my note to Nature was not sent up to the Director of Agriculture for the necessary permission required to publish it outside India. I very nearly decided to leave the station as a result of all this, and my life became very complicated. However, I refused to be defeated, and I'm glad to report that Venkatraman is at last convinced the cross is genuine. I've made up my mind to write to you only after this matter was cleared up. I had no idea it would take so long. I have known in the course of these 6 months what Oriental persecution is, and when it is directed against a woman, it has a flavor all its own. I thank you very much for sending the note about bamboo hybrids for publication. It can go up with just a little alteration. The plant has not flowered yet. That makes it 22 months instead of 15, as in the note. It's doing very well vegetatively, profuse tillering, but it remains a dwarf. I shall be sending you one photograph. Here is one showing the nucleus chromosome of maize, which Gates failed to see. I tried to enlarge it, but with not much success. In the slide one can see the connecting strand very nicely. I'm trying to introduce tetraploidy in the Zia hybrid and some of our other intergeneric hybrids by use of colchicine. I use the crude extract as it's only the form I can get it in. One of my Saccharum imperata hybrids was given about 52F2 of cell-fed seedlings. Some of these look very like imperata, Venkatraman's Saccharum, and bamboo hybrids are also fertile and are yielding economic types in F2. I wonder if I'll be able to attend the Genetical Congress next year. But after the way Venkatraman has been treating me, I do not wish to continue here. What is the use of working if I find it so difficult to get permission to publish my findings? My love to you and Margaret. My congratulations to Margaret on her doctorate. I hope both of you are doing very well and are very happy. My salams to the John Innes Horticultural Institute and your father and mother. All the best. Yours always, Janaki.
Your Chromosome Atlas was the first book which laid out all the chromosome numbers for cultivated plants. A veritable Bible. Janaki, you identified many of these chromosomes. For the first 40 years of the 20th century, genetics was synonymous with eugenics. You were a member of the Eugenics Society. You even renewed your membership. I would like to ask you more about that. Darlington was beginning to make connections between the breeding of plants and the breeding of men. You were interested in lenses, adding an extra Zeiss lens to your microscope. He was interested in interbreeding between different races and how that would impact genetics. At the John Innes Institute, you began studying the triploid eggplant slides you brought with you from Michigan. As you prepared the root tip, did you think about putting down roots in the UK, the US, India? You talk of daughter univalence, and you talk of mother cells and embryo sacs, and you talk of mother cells and embryo sacs of the Saccharum sugarcane. Sweet dreams, love of a eugenicist. Sweet dreams are made of this. There was a nationalism to your sugar, creating a higher yield, so that you need to use less of it to stop importing sugar to sweeten your food, and the attempt to make things, plants, people, ever sweeter. You talk of the blood of your saccharum, your sugar cane, as if it were a human being. What did you dream the future might be if your research continued? The future of GM food? Would you ever have dreamt of floods due to rice and pollution guzzling trees?
21st August 1979. My dear Cyril, I am about to start a daring feat. I have made up my mind to make a chromosome survey of the forest trees of the Silent Valley, which is about to be made into a lake by letting in the waters of the river Kunti. I hope you received the booklet I sent you. Some of us tried hard to save the valley and its ancient flora. But big business of Kerala is, I think, going to have its own way.
Or were these exactly the kind of future possibilities that haunted your dreams? We're all living in a genetical society now, Janaki. I imagine, Janaki, using the structure of your DNA to form this film. Janaki, I'm signing off now. Mirror, lens, snow. A mirror to me, to appease the hunger, creating ever sweeter strains of sugar. There's something queer in the unequal chromosomes of plants, a mirror polyploidy. The triploids, tetraploids, octoploids, creating ever sweeter strains of sugar.
Searching for ever higher yields.
Miracle rice, golden rice. Making genetically modified food into a holy grail, a new philosopher's stone.
And the attempt to make things, plants, people,
Janaki,
ever sweeter.
Love into work.
You talk of the blood of your saccharum, your sugar cane, as if it were a human being.
Fall into the myriad patriarchal traps of husband.
What did you dream the future might be if your research continued? I write from the year 2023. This is the year that Haldane mentioned in the title of his work. If you were alive in the year 2023 AD, predicting the birth of a human baby grown in a lab, looking at you through the lens of the 21st century. Janaki, I'm signing off now. Yours, Susan.